Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure, and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hello there and welcome to News Tonight this Monday, the 24th day of January 2022. First though, let's have a look at our top stories.
Brought to you by
How to get points. Just use MTN to make calls, send SMS, load airtime, buy bundles, or pay for MTN subscription services.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
In our top stories tonight, police warns the public planning to use border past curfew time. Lubaga Cathedral in final touches for the consecration of Bishop Semogerere. Government to reduce taxes on fuel importers who use water and rail transport. And in sports, Commonwealth Games selection 6 make the cut in table tennis.
Was brought to you by Everywhere you go, MTN.
Hello there and welcome once again on Sign Language. It is Elizabeth Nakakoni and I'm Rukidi Edward Kiijanangoma. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has reiterated the government's commitment to implement the planned development of the road infrastructure in Lango sub-region, including the Lira-Kamdini Road. The President was meeting members of Parliament from Lango sub-region at Alidi Primary School, Loro sub-county in Oyam district, who had earlier voiced concerns by their constituents about the deteriorating condition of Lira to Kamdini Road, whose construction had delayed for some years. The President, however, assured the people of Lango sub-region that government will utilize money from the road fund to finance the construction of Lira Kamdini Road. Take a watch.
For other underlying discontents. So I want to appeal to the people of Lango, because we are on here, that when a challenge presents itself, it is important that leaders put aside emotions. From 2021, we have progressively voted the man on the hat. And we expect that the man wearing the hat should also reciprocate with the development. So, the reciprocation that the people are asking for requires that we all work together.
They told me about the problems, especially the one of the road from Tororo to Kamdini. That road, I didn't know that there was a problem. I thought it had been solved because the World Bank had agreed to fund it. However, yesterday when I listened to the MPs who had been trying to talk to the people of the roads, UNRA, for a long time. Don't blame the MPs because they were doing their part. But not because NRM doesn't care about Lango. That's not correct. Why did we plan for it if we didn't care about Lango? You see, when we are funding these projects, we use different tactics. Put a lot of money on the roads. That's why I'm telling you that if the World Bank has got a problem funding this road, we shall fund it ourselves. That's how we funded Mitiana Road, funded Kamwenje Road, we funded Oruyo, Anaka, Gulu, Chwero, Ketugum, Musinga Road. We funded it by our government of Uganda money. We are going to fund this road now. We have put 6,400 billion shillings each year in the budget of the road. Since 2006, that's how we have been able to do all these roads. Now, the other issue is the issue of the, which was well articulated by the MPs, was the issue of the district hospitals. The only district hospital is a patch. So that puts a lot of pressure on Lira Referral Hospital, because people who should be being handled at the district hospital, they all come to the referral. But as you know, our policy is to have a district hospital per district. Because what you need to know is that we are not dealing with one issue. We are not dealing only with the hospitals. We are dealing with the schools. We are dealing with the electricity. We are dealing with the water. We are dealing with. That's what you should also understand. So if you hear a leader who's talking of doing all the things, you say Duchu. Duchu is top all. Then you know that is a Lagoba.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, of course, talking to Lango Sub-Region elders and members of Parliament on the impending redevelopment of the Lira-Kandini Road. Now, Uganda Police has warned those working at night to observe standard operating procedures to curb the spread of COVID-19. Police spokesperson Fred Enanga told the media that the public should be mindful of full reopening of the economy and cautioned the public over use of borders. We have this story.
The economy will open on 24th of January 2022. This lifts the lockdown of night economy, which police has cautioned the public against undermining standard operating procedures.
With the existence of COVID-19, we still have cases that are increasing. Therefore, it is important that all proprietors and managers in nightlife and the night economy carefully manage the reopening of their businesses in the safest possible way. Where possible, they can have ventilation systems in all venues, sanitation stations.
Police spokesperson Fred Enanga advised the public to plan journeys accordingly and the means of transport to use at night, because borders are restricted to 7 p.m.
So if at all you're going out, ensure that you have means to transport you back outside the border. If you're going to go out and think that you're going to call a border rider to come and pick you at 10, 11, midnight or 1 a.m., then you have to know that there are inconveniences and disruptions that come along with that.
Police also warns politicians on current operations of taking vendors off the city roads known to dare mobilizing affected persons for unlawful demonstrations.
We want to put out a warning there. If you can move around the city center, you'll see our deployments. And whoever will be caught in doing this act that is illegal will be dealt with in accordance with the law. It is good to demonstrate as long as you go through the normal procedures. If you don't go through them, if these riots are being fueled by politicians because of their own motive, we won't allow this.
In Kamuli district, police are holding Matovu Afan and Rodrigo Sharif over alleged trafficking of 41 children. These are said to have recruited children in the guise of taking them to orphanage school in Kasanda district.
You are recruiting children whom you are calling orphans, but they have their parents. You are recruiting the children, but you are not telling the parents where you are taking them. You simply tell them that you are going to offer them education. And we are saying this is dangerous because previously we have rescued children from different centers where they have been radicalized into extremism.
The recruitment of children without clear intentions are attached to the increasing radicalization of young people into terrorism activities. Abdul Nasser Luwama, UBC News.
Uganda Police has issued a statement for the consecration of the new Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, Bishop Paul Semogeri. That's slated for Tuesday, the 25th of January 2022 at Rubaga Cathedral. Police and the church administration held a press conference this afternoon. Robert Onyango reports.
Come Tuesday, 25th January 2022, all roads will be leading to St. Agnes Cathedral in Kampala, which is literally known as Rubaga Cathedral, for the consecration of the 4th Archbishop of Kampala, Paul Semogeri.
We're going to take a canonical position over this diocese, so it is a big celebration.
A people at the cathedral this evening, preparations for the event were at the final dot. The church has updated the country, especially the Catholic community, about the proceedings.
The celebration is going to start from a place called Rubigi at a river called Lumansi, where the bishop will be coming from Kasanaluero, and also the convoy from this side will take over by receiving him at that place, because the Diocese of Luwero stopped that part and the Kampala Diocese begins from there. So we expect to be there with the convoy very early in the morning at 6:30.
To avoid the crowding at the cathedral in compliance to the COVID-19 SOPs, only invited guests are expected for the event.
Sunday we have served, we have passed over a number of cards, almost 1,000. The issue is more the pandemic. Yeah. All of the whole diocese have been the guests of the Archbishop, but because of that, we have picked people to represent certain groups.
The joint media brief was among others attended by the Uganda police officials, especially from the police traffic department.
There will be restricted access to St. Mary's Cathedral Rubaga, and drivers will park in the designated parking areas as directed by traffic police. Only invited guests, I repeat, only invited guests with stickers will access the venue.
Police has issued stringent and must follow guidelines for the event attendance, and failure to comply will call for harsh punishment.
General parking area will be at Uganda Matters High School playground. There will be no parking along the road or in undesignated parking areas. Motor vehicles left parked or abandoned along the road will be towed to Old Kampala Police Station at the owner's cost and inconvenience.
Bishop Paul Semogeri, who is set for consecration, is a son to the renowned politician Dr. Paul Kawanga Semogeri, and now waits to replace the late Dr. Cyprian Kizito Lwanga, who died in April last year. Robert Onyango.
Guidelines there for the consecration of Paul Semogeri, who is the new Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese, and that is slated for tomorrow. State Minister for Higher Education, Dr. John Chrysostom Muyingo, has advised parents still holding children at home to return them to school. The government programs, he says, of UPE and USE provide for parents who have not taken back their children to school instead of letting them sell masks and other items in markets. The minister was attending the farewell mass led by the Archbishop-elect for Kampala Archdiocese, Paul Semogeri, who is the former Bishop of Kasana-Luwero.
It is 3 weeks since government reopened schools after 2 years of lockdown to stop the spread of COVID-19. but parents are still holding learners, allowing them to vend items like masks and food. State Minister for Education Dr. John Chrysostom Moyengo has condemned such parents for disrupting the future of such children.
All of you leaders, in your own respective capacities, please make sure that you mobilize all the children and their parents to make sure that every school-going child goes to school and benefits from his stay. Of course, I'm also calling upon the teachers at school to show love, to show some care to these children so that they are not discouraged from continuing with their studies.
This was during the farewell mass led by the Archbishop-elect for Kampala Archdiocese, Paul Semogelele, who served the Kasana-Luwero Diocese for 13 years. However, Dr. Moyengo cautioned school proprietors to discuss school fees issues with parents. He commended Archbishop Semogelele for improving the education sector in Kasana-Luwero Diocese during his tenure.
Through the education sector, because wherever we wanted land for schools, the Archbishop was there. Wherever we wanted to do something to do with the youth, the Archbishop was there to give government support. I want to thank him very much and wish him a very good pastoral period when he goes.
The Archbishop-elect of Kampala Archdiocese, Paul Semogelele, hailed the relationship between the clergy, Christians and political leaders, which has improved the livelihoods of communities. Archbishop-elect for Kampala Archdiocese, Paul Semogelele, will be officially installed as the Archbishop of Kampala tomorrow at Lubaga Cathedral in Kampala. Abdul Nasele Lobama and Freddy Kasivante for UBC News.
To the August House now, where a section of members of Parliament say government needs a long-term strategy of having an oil reserve other than entrust only private key players. They say the risk associated with trusting private players might come with long-term impacts in the future, as we hear in this report.
Three members of parliament have protested against rising fuel prices in the country. Riding on bicycles, Barnabas Tinka Simiro of Buyaga West, Mbwate Kamwagafa of Igara West, and Susan Mugabi of Buvuma District attempted to access parliament. Police did not allow them.
We want the government to come up and tell the economy so that they can balance the economy.
Currently, the pump price is 6,000 upwards. I have finished all the money. Now I have to use my energy to make sure that I come and attend the budget committee.
The issue of having a sustainable fuel reserve has come up with a call on government to take full responsibility.
For the reserves that can take this country, you need to have constructed at least 180 million litres reserve.
We must find a way, as government, we must find a way. We can't afford to just keep the status quo the way it is.
Uganda as a country apparently has no fuel reserve under its control, which some stakeholders have attributed to absence of funds.
My belief is that Uganda as a country has the capacity to have a reserve which is reliable. But what is lacking is the will.
And one of the things we had raised were the oil reserves in the country, because the reserves are supposed to have fuel for the rainy day.
We have no money to buy reserves to keep in the case of eventualities. We don't have. That's a fact.
Although government has a storage terminal in Jinja, the fuel is entirely under the control of private companies.
I still believe that it is very, very wrong for us to place the oil reserves in the hands of private sector. That is deadly.
And why do they lend them out to private companies? If they are lending them out to private companies, why are they spending at source? Why doesn't this money go to the consolidated fund?
Appearing before the Parliamentary Committee of Trade, the Chief Executive Officer, Uganda National Oil Company, Proscovia Nabanja, said government has resolved to build another storage terminal in Buloba, Kampala.
Board
is to reinvest all the monies that we get from Ginger Storage Terminal into bulk trading business.
However, members of parliament think otherwise.
That cannot be a factor.
Susan Naonga reporting for UBC TV.
Divergent views there from different members of parliament in as far as government oil reserves are concerned. The government has vowed to continue the fight against the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF, whose base is in the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The campaign to end the rebel activities in the DRC is estimated to last for 2 years. However, Parliament is still hesitant on the 87 billion request by government to fund the war against ADF in the DRC.
After the recent insecurity, including the twin bombings in Kampala, government of Uganda set foot in Democratic Republic of Congo to fight the Allied Democratic Forces, ADF. This move did not pass through the August House as required by the laws of the land.
It should be a formal notice or to be given, but not to be pulled under the table casually. I agree with.
It was only strategic in the operation that we don't give as much information as is required. And there is no way you can come and bring a statement and you don't attract a debate.
But the fight has to continue, and it is Parliament to approve the resources.
Obviously, when you have soldiers, you have to feed them, you have to clothe them, you have to give them uniform.
State Minister for Defence, Jacob Oboth, presented to the Committee of Defence in Parliament a budget of shillings 87 billion in the next financial year, 2022-2023, to aid in the 2-year strategy to end ADF rebel activities in DRC. This caused a heated debate as some members raised eyebrows.
But we want to assure you, we have a record, and we will make sure that good name of the UPDF is not spoiled.
So wrong people use this chance to inflate figures. So we really have to check and see, is it really necessary?
In essence, that means the operation, if it is illegal, we cannot get public funds to fund the operation which is illegal. So the minister promised very soon to appear before Parliament to make a motion seeking for the approval of Parliament to be in Congo.
And you want to mobilize them and retrain them. In an event that we don't have enough budget, why don't we look at improving their welfare? We are talking of parish development model, as Chair said. What is their package? Madam Chair and the Honorable Minister, we need to prioritize some of these programs.
The Minister of Defence and Veteran Affairs is seeking shillings 6.7 trillion in the next financial year 2022-2023.
So I thought it would put us in the real picture, then we contribute.
Daniel Mugoya, Gloria Gwitabinji, UBC News.
It's 24 minutes after 9 in the studios of UBC TV. We'll now be taking a very short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Start the year off with my Airtel 4G smartphone. You get to enjoy free 1 GB data valid for a month and 100% bonus data every month for 3 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings. This includes free data spread over 3 months worth 86,500 Uganda shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 Uganda shillings only. Visit the nearest Airtel shop and get one today. Airtel, the smartphone network.
For an event as big as the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations, you can't afford to miss out. So where do you go when you want to have a full AFCON 2021 experience? You go where everybody goes. When you're looking for the vibe, you go straight to the source. So if you want to have it all, go all out for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations with GoTV. Catch all 52 must-watch games live on SuperSport on GoTV. GoTV, love it.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay. Dial *185#.
Select option 6, school fees. Select option 2, school pay. Select option 1, pay fees. Enter student number. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Beat the back-to-school hustle today. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Ooh. Look. The thing goes clink, clink, clink. Woo.
Grab an ice-cold bottle of Pepsi Max today and drink to your bold lifestyle. Enjoy maximum taste with no sugar. Now available at a shop near you. Maximum taste, no sugar.
Pay school fees conveniently using MTN Momo. Dial *165 *80#. Enter the student code provided by the school. It will show you the student name and the class plus outstanding balance. Enter the amount you want to pay. Enter PIN. You will get a notification confirming payment. It's simple, secure, and convenient.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Raising voices.
Like other fathers across Uganda, I'm standing up to say no to violence against children. I commit to give my children a violence-free childhood. As fathers, we can make Uganda safer for our children. I promise to speak out when I see violence.
In this time of COVID, what is your promise to the children of Uganda? Because a violence-free childhood is everyone's right. Raising voices.
Enjoy convenience today with Airtel Money School Pay, FlexiPay, or Bridge Schools. To pay school fees using Airtel Money for Bridge Schools, dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Select option 1, Bridge Schools. Enter pupil ID. Enter the amount. Enter the PIN number to complete payment. Pay school fees conveniently using Airtel Money. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
All eyes are on Africa. All eyes are on Cameroon. All eyes are on UBC. The drama, the heartbreak, the suspense, tears, joy and celebrations in the biggest sporting event on the continent. In one place, UBC. Call your public broadcaster today and grow your business with us. 0752 265 827 and 0776 611 540. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Welcome back from that short break, and this is News Tonight here on UBC TV. A State Minister for Planning in the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Amos Lugolobi, has referred to the late Governor of Bank of Uganda as an icon on assembling Uganda's economic journey. And as Robert Onyango now reports, the body of Mutebile is expected in the country on Tuesday, the 25th of January, 2022.
Country for losing such a man with a very illustrious career.
The sudden death of Governor Bank of Uganda, Professor Emmanuel Mutebile, is drawing discussions and eulogies as many hail him for the good job done.
The country will really miss him because he has been a true icon of economics, especially macroeconomics, that governed macroeconomic stability in this country. You know, there are two major stability issues. Security is number one, but macroeconomic is another one. So he has been the leader, kind of, in that area of macroeconomic stability.
Lugolobi, who once served as the chairperson Parliamentary Budget Committee, recalls some of the working relationships with the late Mutebile.
And each year we would invite Professor Mutebile to come and explain. He's a man that would always, if he invited, would come to Parliament. We never experienced any problems. You have seen how sometimes civil servants and government officials behave. They're invited and they say they will not come. But he would come and explain the position. you know, and as a result, Parliament did not have any problems with the central bank.
During the late Mutebile's tenure as Bank of Uganda governor, it is perceived that the country's economy has been revived.
He did a lot in transforming fiscal policy in terms of how we collected taxes, which taxes to collect, you know, and expenditure, directing expenditure into areas that would lead to the transformation of the economy.
Others who recall the latest journey is the Kigezi political master and ICT minister, Dr. Chris Wariomusing.
We wanted to thank Professor Mutebile for the distinguished service he has rendered to this country, because he has been one of the strong economists that we have had, and he has played his role in shaping the economic policy of this country, and surely we shall dearly miss him.
Therefore, the region and Uganda at large will entirely miss the knowledge and service of the late Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebile.
Yes, we've been spearheading a number of projects like in the education sector, supporting technical and vocational institutions in various districts, where he has been giving substantial support as a member of Kigezi. We've also been rehabilitating health facilities.
According to the revised program, the board of the late Governor Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebile will be flown back on Tuesday, and burial is set for Sunday, 30th January 2022 in Kabale District. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
And still on news pertaining to the fallen governor of Bank of Uganda, members of parliament have joined the rest of Ugandans to celebrate the life of fallen governor, Bank of Uganda, Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebile. Now, some have described him as a straightforward person whose worthwhile replacement may not be easy to find.
He's a man who was not so much pompous, like trying to show that he's the governor of Bank of Uganda. You know what it means being the governor. And the central bank, the bank which holds the money for the whole country. I can tell you, if you gave that position to a young man, I don't know what would happen, because the person will be trying to show and always display new notes when they're just arriving from Entebbe or so. But Mutebile was just a humble person, but also highly intelligent.
Governor Mutebile was a very hard-working, kind-hearted, patriotic human being. I met him when I was in the university. We approached him when I was a student. I was a nobody, he didn't even know me, but he would at every time support the students' fraternity. He would support them with air tickets. He would support them on medical trips. He has done a lot for this country. We will miss a great man. I personally will miss a friend in him. May the good Lord rest his soul in eternal peace.
So we've lost an icon. And I don't know whether Museveni will be able to identify one to replace him in his shoes. So he was a fantastic man, a nationalistic and incredible man.
Members of Parliament eulogizing fallen former governor of the Bank of Uganda. Meanwhile, former Minister for Finance, Professor Dr. Ezra Suruma, is among Ugandans who have mourned the fallen Bank of Uganda Governor Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebile. Dr. Ezra remembers Mutebile for his tough monetary policy that barred government from printing money unnecessarily. Philip Aguta reports.
When talking about the fallen Bank of Uganda Governor Emmanuel Tumusime Mutebile, Makerere University Chancellor Dr. Ezra Suruma becomes emotional.
We are extremely sad that he has suffered so much.
This is because Dr. Ezra Suruma and the fallen governor have many things in common. Both are bankers, economists, and come from Kigezi sub-region, and both were in exile in the 1970s and early 80s.
We came to interact. Actually, mainly after 1980, following the fall of Idi Amin, he returned from Tanzania, where he had been in exile, and I returned from the United States, where I had also been in exile. And we started struggling for peace, returning peace to Uganda.
According to Dr. Ezra Suruma, when they both joined government in the mid-1980s after President Museveni took over, they all agreed to put their knowledge to the recovery of Uganda's economy as professors of economics.
Most people had money, but there was nothing to buy. And we had to restore the economy. And so we worked very closely in those difficult days, 1986, 87 onwards.
He says that his fellow economist Mutebile started the economic recovery of the country through liberalization of the economy as his priority.
So we worked to liberalize prices, to liberalize foreign exchange, and indeed, after some years, we started to see improvements and normalization of the economy.
Suruma, who is currently the Chancellor Makerere University, remembers Mutebile as a courageous economist who made sure that government does not print money at will or spend anyhow.
Yes, so there is a tremendous pressure on the government to spend more money than it has. And if that pressure is not contained, then the result is runaway inflation. The money, the government puts pressure on the governor to print money, and the governor has to be able to resist.
Dr. Ezra Suruma, however, says he once disagreed with Mutebile over the privatization of Uganda Commercial Bank. He says he didn't want the bank to be privatized, while Mutebile said it was okay.
Yeah, we had disagreed earlier on when I was fighting against the privatization of Uganda Commercial Bank by the government. But and he went ahead with the government to privatize Uganda Commercial Bank. On that we had disagreed, but that was before I became Minister of Finance.
Emmanuel Mutebile died on the wee hours of Sunday morning from Nairobi Hospital, where he had been admitted since December. His death is a blow to the Uganda's economy. Philip Aguta, UBC News in Kampala.
And may the soul of Emmanuel Tumusiime Mutebile rest in eternal peace. The Islamic Medical Association of Uganda and Uganda Green Christian Society are to disperse community educators in 20 districts to sensitize masses on effects of addiction. Hasfa Lukwata, a mental health specialist at the Ministry of Health, says community educators will increase the knowledge and advocacy skills for members of Uganda Christian Society.
Crescent Society and Islamic Medical Association of Uganda have been dispersed to sensitize masses about dangers of addiction. Hasfa Lukwata, a mental health specialist at the Ministry of Health, says the COVID-19 lockdown increased different types of addiction, ranging from alcohol, drugs, among others.
The other thing is we are going to raise the age of initiation. Anytime currently, most of the companies that you're hearing, those that are advertising, are actually talking of the age of 18. We're going to increase this age to 21, and because there's a lot of science that is informing us that it is better to raise the age to 21 and not 18 in order to protect these young people.
Lukwata attributes redundancy and peer pressure as the major contributors to addiction and recommended for the sensitization of communities the dangers of addiction.
We have banned the sell to and buy minors. For instance, you're not supposed to send a child to buy you a stick of cigarette or to buy you alcohol. Anyone less than 21 years is not supposed to.
Now let's go to what many Ugandans have actually been waiting for, and that is the nightlife. And bars and other entertainment sectors are in preparation to resume operation today and after, of course, 2 years of a lockdown. Our reporter visited some of the clubs in Kampala, and here is the report on how they are prepared to resume.
After 2 years of lockdown, bars officially resumed operations today following the presidential directives on the full reopening of the economy. The fully awaited moment for the entertainment sector has finally come, and clubs are preparing to resume operations, and cleaning of the dust that had flown all over, offloading of liquor and vanishing of furniture is in progress.
2 years is a long time. Lockdown hit us hard. We've prepared, we've been waiting for this day, and we were prepared. We've first of all vaccinated all our staff fully, to start with, the ones that we're going to work with. Secondly, we've changed our space. We're more outdoor than indoor as per the guidelines. We're revamping some of the old theme nights, others we'll bring back. Basically, we're good to go. We're good to go, really.
Daniel Kaziwe attests that there is need to harmonize bar owners and landlords on rent payment.
We're going to be following the SOPs, but we also want a hand where there are bars that don't have rent for the last 2.5 years. I'll give you examples of what I've been paying for big mics, big money. And how much can you pay back? The landlord may come anytime. And after the landlord, the government is open, but the landlord is waiting. The waiters, the barmen, some people have dates that have not been cleared. So it's not going to be a very easy thing for us, but we're going to try.
At Ambience Club, workers are receiving customers, and the DJ is testing the machines.
Now let's get into some other news where Minister for Public Service Wilson Muruli Mukasa has called upon investors to extend investments to all parts of the country for instant development. Muruli was officiating at the foundation of Forking Association here in Uganda, as we hear in this report.
A Chinese association, Uganda Forking Association, is in to increase investments in the country. Uganda's fertile soils are a milestone in the agriculture sector that will be boosted with processing of products with improved technology to improve Uganda's exports. Minister for Public Service Wilson Muruli Mukasa, who officiated, asked them to extend services to other parts of the country.
Opportunities are not only in Kampala, they are throughout the whole country, the whole of Uganda. And it would be appropriately fine if, for instance, the association went out to explore other areas of the country.
Deputy Director, Uganda Investment Authority, Martin Mohanji, who represented the Minister of State, Privatization and Industry, Evelyn Anite, acknowledged that Uganda has the most conducive environment for investment.
It is a fully liberalized economy for investors, where investors can invest in any sector of the economy. Our primary sectors are agriculture, tourism, ICT, mining. Foreign investors are allowed to own 100% of their investments.
Now let's look at what Nakasero market vendors are doing, and they are in high gear as they prepare to celebrate the 36th Liberation Day celebrations. Take a watch.
najja ojjawo njawukana akatale kaffe kali mu mirembe ffe twasoose okuwaniriza abantu abavudde ku nguudo twayingiza abantu 13 abavudde ku nguudo ne tubawa emidaala gya bwereere abasuubuzi kujaguza kulaba Pulezidenti Museveni tujja mu nsiko n'atuleeta kuki katale okuweereza abasuubuzi. Pulezidenti Museveni yagamba yajjawo abaali balina mu ddiro lyabwe kasasiro n'amwera
ente eno gy'olaba waggulu wano tugenda gisala ekiro kya leero enkya mwenna mu kibiri kyadde abayise kyamaani wammwe tugenda kugirya
nsya nalukola kutakala kujaguza onakubenza Museveni abeewo.
End of this bulletin. And coming up here on UBC TV is the AFCON match between Cameroon, the hosts, and Comoros. From me and on behalf of the entire news crew this evening, it's good night.
Flutterwave, partner of this broadcast of the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations Cameroon 2021.